Hi, this is Adam with Dotcom Reps, and today we're going to talk about Vendor Central and invitations to Vendor Central and why you do not want one. So I know there's a lot of people out there asking for Vendor Central invitations. They're asking to buy Vendor Central accounts. Everyone thinks the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, comparing 3P to 1P. And I am here to tell you, after 17 years experience with both Vendor Central and Seller Central, that in 2025, this is absolutely the wrong environment for a 1P or vendor central relationship. I'm going to explain why. I know it seems counterintuitive, sounds great. Amazon buys goods from you, you have no problems. They pay you and you ship to them, and you don't have to worry about anything else. But the fact of the matter is, the algorithms treat the product, its relevance, and the demand for such items and brands the same, regardless of whether or not the item is in 1P or in Seller Central FBA. So you're not going to sell more product just because you're in Vendor Central. The other thing that's important to note is the fees on Vendor Central are outrageous and constantly changing, and the support is extremely dull and or lacking. If you thought the support's bad in third party, welcome to Vendor Central, where it is even worse. You'll get immediately frustrated. There's nobody to talk to. You do not have a vendor manager unless you do over $5 or $10 million on in COGS. You also will have to work with very rudimentary selling tools. They're kind of laughable if you're coming from the third party side where everything is nice, pretty, easy to use, and accessible. And the amount of shortages that Amazon claims they did not receive, right? So when you ship goods into Vendor Central, you could ship the exact same amount into FBA, and FBA will get 100% of it or 99%. With almost every order on Vendor Central, Amazon will claim that they don't have some of it, or it's missing, or it was delayed. So you'll have to constantly be chasing them for money. The terms are also very unfavorable. It's very traditional for them to give you, 60, 90-day terms or longer. Sometimes there's a quick pay discount for 30 days. But they keep your money for a long period of time, and then they do a provisions for receivables. So they're constantly like deducting and playing, with the money. And we're taking a deduction from the money now, but then we'll pay it back later. And there's this kick the can constantly, similar to reserves on Seller Central, but in steroids. So a lot of those accounting practices get really frustrating for people. And I think the other thing that is a major point of contention is every year you have to renegotiate your terms with Amazon. So maybe they're favorable year one, year two, but at some point they're going to come back to you and say, by the way, we've analyzed your true damages, your true freight rate, and we've determined that it's 4 to 5x what we originally negotiated, and P.S. the standards for MDF and or the base accrual are now higher. So when you initially priced the program, you've accounted for 12% fees, 12, 14% fees. But now Amazon's asking for 22, 23% fees, and your prices are locked in. This is the other problem. It's not so simple to just change your prices and change your costs because the Amazon system will habitually reject them all. And then in the event there are tariffs, and guess what? There's a big tariff conversation happening right now with nearly every nation. You have to bend over backwards to prove you've paid the tariffs, negotiate the amount. You have to try and raise your retail price everywhere, not just Amazon, so Walmart, Target, and direct to consumer. Anywhere else you're selling it that Google can find that price, you need to match that or be forced into some kind of price agreement where you'll have to pay Vendor Central, or they'll deduct the difference in the event you can't honor that higher price on your product detail page. So it's not all, fairy dust and unicorns selling into 1P. There's this illusion that it's terrific, and it is not. Primarily, we were established as a 1P agency, and we migrated a lot of our business off of 1P into 3P, where it's more favorable, and you're actually in the driver's seat. Pricing, selection, cadence, payments, when you can ship goods in. It's really all up to you. What items are FBM versus FBA? Deprecation, updates to content. Again, way easier, way more streamlined in Seller Central. It's very difficult to make catalog changes in Vendor Central. And when you attempt to make them and they fail, you're hit with a lot of different excuses from the automation in terms of why your contribution wasn't taken. So I honestly would stop daydreaming about 1P and focus on growing a really strong 3P business, which, by the way, there are many that are tens of millions and several that are hundreds of millions. And honestly, the largest sellers on Amazon are on the third-party side. That kind of tells you everything you need to know. So my personal opinion, stop daydreaming, get to business, lean really hard into FBA, and you will likely be just as profitable, if not better, and can be in control of your own destiny, and I think be happy with the results. If you have any questions, comments, you need guidance, strategic consultation, please reach out to Dotcom Reps. You can find us on the web, www.dotcomreps.com. Hopefully this information helps some folks. Please leave any questions or comments below and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.